Welcome to this talk. Today's theme is how can we, through technology, keep our customers safe and yet deliver a fun and safe gambling experience? My name is Willy Silberstein, and I would like to know who you two guests are. Who are you?
Hello, everyone. My name is Snehal Richter. I'm working as an experience owner for Kindred. I joined Kindred in 2012, started off as a developer, then became the product owner, and now working as an experience owner for the Bean Control experience in Kindred. It's one of the seven, now eight experiences that we have now at Kindred. Um, as my role as an experience owner, I work with leading the vision, the strategy, design, and execution of experiences.
Okay, we can get back to more details. I'd just like to sort of a short introduction. Next one, Sören, who are you?
Hi, I am Sören Thornlund. I work as the head of development at Kindred Group. Also been here for just over 10 years, and I'm leading the development department for the group.
Great. So I'd like to start with you, Snehal. You are the experience owner of one of Kindred's seven experiences, Be in Control. What is that?
Well, being control is actually it has a vast scope. But if I have to explain everything in a short manner, I would say that it's basically providing a safety first environment to our customers. We want to make sure that they can be in control of their gambling. We want to be able to monitor players' activities so that we can proactively detect issues with their gambling before it actually becomes a problem. We also want to make sure that the customers play with the funds that have been acquired legally and that they can actually afford to lose. Being control is also about helping the customers to be able to verify themselves in a smooth and local manner.
And how, I mean, all in all, how difficult is it to have people playing in a safe way?
Well, we of course rely on customers' own ability to realize when they should stop, when they go from a social gambler to a problem gambler. But we also make sure that we are monitoring the customer's activity on a regular and constant basis, so that we know when they start changing on the spectrum from a social to problem gamblers, and we make sure that we provide them with support proactively before it actually becomes a problem.
And would you say you detect more or less everyone who is on his or her way of being a problem gambler?
We try to. I mean, we cannot say that we're 100% there. It's actually a part of a 2023 goal for Kindred where we want to reach zero revenue from problem gamblers. So we're not there yet, but we're trying to get there. So we want to make sure that we always detect customers. But yeah, we are trying to get there.
Søren, you are the technical mind behind all these important goals that Snehal talks about. What part does technology play in this?
I would say that technology is a key enabler for us to be able to successfully detect these kind of behaviors. Looking back historically, a lot of this was done through manual interventions and looking at customer behavior uh, when it's already turned into a problem sometimes with customers reaching out to us. By using modern technologies, AI, machine learning, we can look at vast amounts of data and proactively find these patterns where we, through science and through studies, have seen that certain changes in behaviors is indicative of a problem on the horizon. And by using these mechanisms through technology to find them, we can intervene before it actually becomes a problem.
And I asked the same question to you as to Snehal. How successful would you say that you and technology is in this process?
Um, Again, I think we are really successful. It's through the development of new technologies we are going to get better and better at it. Not only because the things that we internally build is becoming more and more sophisticated, and we have more and more data to work on and successful patterns where we detected things to learn use our machine learnings to learn from successes as well. But also the technology around us, with everything from cloud technologies to advanced machine learning tools, will also help us move towards this target quicker and quicker year by year.
So, Snehal, from your point of view, how do you see technology as an enabler to both keep the customer safe as well as providing them with digital entertainment to have fun?
Yeah, as Søren mentioned before, so everything was done manually. So we have an in-house award-winning system called PSEDS, which is Player Safety Early Detection System, which is actually a brainchild of our own RG expert in-house. And this system sits in the background monitoring customers' behavior and trying to find out, when the customer is actually showing a gambling problem. Earlier, everything that we detected from the system, we had to manually intervene and take actions on the customer. But now with technology, with artificial interventions, artificial intelligence, we do automatic interventions to the customers. We provide them with different responsible gaming tools that they can use in order to, limit their gambling, or we just provide them with information, with support. We can actively help them before it actually becomes a problem. So monitoring tools, interventions, it helps a lot in helping the customers be playing safely and before it actually becomes a problem.
So
Yeah.
would you say that technology is more efficient than human beings trying to detect these problems?
Well, of course, I mean, like I said, before it was manual intervention. So we always had to have a customer agent who reaches out to a customer either through email or through a call. And we don't know if the email actually reaches the customer. We don't know if the customer would actually pick up the call. But if you do automatic interventions, it's kind of in your face. It shows up a pop-up in your face. It shows you, look, this is how much you have lost in this gambling session. This is how much you have been playing in the last gambling session, and that's more realistic. That gives the customer more information on how they have been gambling, rather than someone calling and trying to help the customers. So it's more proactive, and it helps much more than a manual intervention.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these behaviors are on a spectrum. Like Snehal describes, it's on a spectrum where you can have a bad day and play a little more than you usually do, and that's not really an addictive behavior or a problem behavior, but it can turn out into. So if we can act in the moment when the customer is having this bad day or whatever is triggering the change behavior, if we trigger it there and then and allow them to, or prompt them to set some spending limits or other means of getting back in control, they can get back to the full enjoyment of it and not lead themselves into a problematic behavior.
Is there, I don't know, maybe you can't answer my question, but is there any number we find this percentage of problem gambling, or can you make a qualified guess? Snehal, do you dare to guess? We don't know, but
Sorry, what was the question?
How efficient do you think? Nobody knows, I guess, but how efficient do you think that technology is in finding problem gambling?
I think I don't have the exact numbers per today, but every time we detect customers, we have always seen a decrease in their problem gambling behavior afterwards. We have also seen that, for example, we have something called a self-exclusion RG tool, responsible gaming tool on our website, which is when the customer goes and self-excludes themselves. And that means that they completely block themselves from the site. And what we have noticed is that once we detect them through the systems and we provide them with the RG tools, we have seen a decrease in the customers who are self-excluding themselves, because they have then gone and used other RG tools available on the site and tried to regulate their behavior in that way, rather than just closing their account on the site. And we have seen that they have moved back on the spectrum, and they have actually started playing socially after being detected than they were before.
And so then, I guess it's still just a guess, but would you say you find a majority of people who play too much, who have a problem with playing too much?
Difficult question to answer, obviously, but I do think so. And with our new journey to zero, aiming towards zero revenue from problematic gambling, for us, this is a good measurement on company level to make sure that everyone is striving towards this target. And again, technology is at the heart of this, being able to detect this, because it's one thing to act weeks or days afterwards, but if you can use technology to act in the moment, the problem will decrease significantly. I strongly believe that.
And you expect technology to enable you to detect more or less everyone who is gambling too much.
Yeah, eventually. I mean,
Mm.
it's a combination of technology and science, where for us to be able to act early before it actually becomes a problem, we need to have the science behind the actions that the customers are taking that we believe leads to a future problem. The more we study, and the more science there is available for us, that we can then model through AI to use those that science to build models, the better we will be at it, for sure.
Mm. So, Snehal, what is, if you would pick the most important factor for you to be able to do your job, so to say, to be able to fulfill the experience that you are the owner of?
Well, it's really hard to pinpoint one factor, but there are a lot of different things. There are a lot of different factors that affect my ability to be able to do my job. I mean, like I said, being in control is a lot about compliance. So we have a lot of requirements that come from our regulators. At the same time, we want to be compliant and at the same time provide a good gambling experience to our customers. So we have to make sure that we always have the customer experience in our vision. We need to make sure that we have the ability to adapt to a fast changing environment. We want to make sure that the customers trust us. And for that, I need to obviously have a very motivated team. I always need support from Sören and his guys to find the right resources and the right skill sets and the mindset to be able to do my job and to be able to do right by the customer.
And does he always deliver what you ask him to?
I think we work quite well together, and yeah, we try to do the best as we can with what we have.
Yes. So, Sören, speaking about that, how important is cooperation between tech department and the different experiences?
It's absolute key. We're very much in this together. We're the yin and yang of the future when it comes to solving the issue of problem gambling, for sure. So the two departments that we lead, me and Snehal, are working very closely together. Where it's more of a partnership than anything else, I would say. This is a transformation within the full company. So it's not just us. It's the entire Kindred Group who are behind this.
So, Snehal, I don't know how many times we already said safer gambling. Can you, still, I should have asked that before, I guess, but what is safer gambling in your words?
Well, like Søren mentioned before with the whole spectrum, so there is different aspects on this behavioral spectrum. So safer gambling means that you're actually playing with the funds that you can afford to lose. You're actually playing for fun. You are not doing it because you need to. You're not chasing losses. You're not doing this because you feel the need to win a bet, or to that you have to play because you feel like you have to make up for the losses that you've had before. It's basically about having fun. It's being safe. It's being able to afford to lose what you're actually playing. And what we do, like I said, with that is monitoring your behavior, providing interventions, helping you to stay in control so that you're actually playing safely and do not become an addicted gambler.
And as we still have some time left, Snehal, can you give us a couple of concrete examples when you or discover what you think is problematic gambling? What Give us a couple of examples. What do you do?
So, like I said before, we have monitoring algorithm in the background, which monitors customers' behavior, right? And when we start to detect that this customer has a gambling issue, we try all sorts of interventions. We try to get in touch with the customer through call or email. We provide interventions on the website. We try to give them an overview of all our responsible gaming tools that they can find on the website. We try to give them information on how much they have lost, how much they have won, how much time they have spent on the website, and that's done automatically. But in the background, we also reach out to them. And when we do that, we at the same time also set a deposit. For example, we have a responsible gaming tool called deposit limit, which is basically setting a limit on how much money you can put in your account. And the customer has an option to set that deposit limit themselves. But if we feel that they have already set a deposit limit of, let's say, 5,000 kroners per week, and that's already too high because we have now using different methods, in Sweden, for example, we have access to the customer's income. And so we can do a credit check on the customer and see, can this person actually deposit 5,000 kroners per week? Can this person afford it? And if we realize that no, this person cannot afford it, then we set a deposit limit cap of, let's say, based on the income, 2,000 kroners per week. And then we do that, we set that on the customer, we reach out to them and we tell them, look, this is what we feel that you should be doing. It shouldn't be more than 2,000 kroners per week. And then the customer might reach out to say, well, I have recently won a jackpot somewhere, or I have recently acquired a lot of money, and that's something you don't see in my income, but I have this money. So then we ask the customer to give us a proof of source of wealth. So we ask them to send us a document where they can actually prove that they are afford to lose that much amount of money, or they can afford to set that much money in their account. And once they do that, we remove the cap, and then we can allow them to play as they were before. And then, of course, that journey doesn't really end there, because now the customer has shown us that they can afford more than what we thought they could. But we still continue to monitor this customer's behavior so that it doesn't become a problem again.
So then let's look into the future. If you look into your crystal ball and say, look, what will happen in 2 or 3 years' time, what do you see?
For us as a company, I see that we will turn more and more to this kind of automation. We will certainly work towards zero income from problematic gambling. So to your last question, our goal with this is to reach a level of no income at all from problematic gambling. So more and more tooling towards that, finding more and more ways to detect what we detect as problematic behavior. I also see using data for an increased personalization and improving the enjoyment of our products, letting customers be more and more in control over the full experience, not only the responsible gambling side, but also the enjoyment of it, whether it's how you play casinos and the immersion of it, and sports betting, how you get to enjoy your favorite teams, and what kind of bet offers we can create due to technology.
And this will also just be a guess, but of course you have competitors. Do you think they will try to attract people with problems when it comes to gambling and make them their customers, or do you think they will go your way and also aim for zero gamblers from people with problems? What do you think?
I think that in general, the trend in the industry is about compliance and safety. So all of the bigger players are certainly turning this way, because there's no long-term strategic investment in making people into addicted gamblers. No one really wants that. It's not good for society. It's certainly not good for the individual. So my strong belief is that with the changing society and with companies becoming more and more modern and holistic, everyone will move towards this, and we intend to be at the forefront of driving this behavioral change in the industry.
Mm. And Snehal, I guess you have a crystal ball too. What do you see when it comes to your area in gambling? What do you see within 2 or 3 years?
I think it's like Sören said, it is a market for compliance, and everyone is every market is slowly getting regulated. It started with Sweden, then we have Netherlands, and then we have the US market also on the way to be regulated. And it's becoming more and more important to, work with compliance and help customers rather than how it was before, where there were no regulations at all telling us how we should deal with our customers and so on. So I think looking into the future, I think it does look quite good, and we already have reached. When it comes to zero revenue, we are at 4%, which might seem like a lot, but it's still not much. We have now reached around 4% of our revenue where we get revenue from problem gamblers. The plan is to reach to 0%. So I think looking at how things are changing and how every market is becoming very, very stringent when it comes to, how much we allow the customers to play and so on, I think it's going to just get better from here onwards. And every market is going to do a lot to safeguard the customers and their gambling.
So, all in all, future is bright, I can hear. Thank you so much, Snehal and Sören, and thank you all who have been watching this.